And welcome to the Tim's Sports Talk. We have Tuesday night football, Buffalo Bills versus the Tennessee Titans, COVID game. Tennessee coming in with a couple of players, two of their wide receivers, one of their best defensive players out due to COVID. But it doesn't matter because they roll over the Buffalo Bills 42-16. Man, it was a struggle tonight. Josh Allen, 26 for 41, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. His first interception was rough. It got tipped up off his receiver's hands, intercepted by Malcolm Butler. But the second one was completely his fault. He threw it right to Malcolm Butler. Easiest pick of Malcolm Butler's life. Ryan Tannehill, not a lot of yards because they had good field position every drive basically. But he had 21 for 28, 195 yards, and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions, no turnovers for Tennessee tonight. Derrick Henry pretty much was non-existent until the fourth quarter, like he usually does, because he just tears down defenses. 19 carries, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns, and including a just manhandling of Josh Norman, the viral video. Oh my lord. Yep, Hail to the Redskins, already talking about it. Derrick Henry mauled Josh Toast Norman. It was brutal, let me tell you. Anybody that saw that knows it was not a good time. No run game for Buffalo. 11 carries, 25 yards for Devin Singletary. TJ Yeldon was okay. 7 carries, 52 yards, so that's decent, but only 18 carries and 77 yards. Not good enough to win against the Titans team. Stephon Diggs had a good day. 10 receptions, 106 yards, a lot of them coming in the first half. A.J. Brown shows up, 7 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Jonnu Smith got a garbage touchdown, but still ended up with 5 catches, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it was pretty much a mauling from Tennessee. Tennessee got up 28-10 in the third quarter, and Buffalo did try to make a little comeback. They did score a touchdown, but then turnovers and just absolutely demolishing with Derrick Henry. And McNichols had a couple of tough runs to get a couple first downs at the end as well. So spelling Derrick Henry with McNichols. He had 9 carries, 28 yards in the day. Not flashy stats, but at the end of the game, he helped seal it. So that's good for McNichols. Let's go over to some team stats. Man, Buffalo actually destroyed them in the time of possession for most of the game. They had, at one point, 30 minutes to 18 minutes for Tennessee going into the fourth quarter, I believe. And then Tennessee basically had the ball the entire fourth quarter. They got the ball with 10 minutes left, and I think the Bills may have had it for the last minute and a half at the end because they ran the ball down their throats, ended up getting a touchdown. Buffalo then gets the kickoff, fumbles it on the kickoff, and Tennessee gets the ball right back. Doesn't even give Buffalo a glimmer of hope, even though they were already down 34-16 at that point. It really wasn't even a close game going into the fourth quarter. But Bills, man, 13 for 17 on third down, good time of possession. Unfortunately, turnovers, man. You drive it down the field, that's all fine and good, but if you don't get it in the end zone because you're throwing it away or fumbling it, does it really matter that you did all those good things? Meanwhile, Tennessee was also fantastic on third down, 60% on third down, 6 for 10. Really good stuff, and they were 1 for 1 on fourth down. So offenses came to play, but Tennessee just got more turnovers. Penalties were killing Buffalo. Not a lot of yards on penalties, 56 yards, but they had 10 penalties. A lot of false starts, a lot of offsides in that fourth quarter really helped seal the deal coming down the end. So, very tough. Only 1 sack on the day for either team, 10 yards against Josh Allen. But, yeah, it was all Tennessee today. So, just in, Le'Veon Bell got released according to Mitchell Wassman. Yes, I saw that. And I hope he goes to the Rams. That is my pick for Le'Veon Bell. But we shall see, because now that he was cut, he can be signed at a veteran minimum. Hopefully nobody signs him off waivers. I hope we don't sign him off waivers because we don't need that mess. But I think that he could do really well in a Rams uniform. The running backs are kind of sketchy over there, so it's not really anything spectacular. So I like him in a Rams uniform. That happened an hour ago. That's not breaking. Yeah, not in today's world. Bell will go to the Cardinals, he thinks. I don't think so. I think they have two good running backs in Drake and Edmonds. So I don't see why they would go after Le'Veon Bell. I don't think they need that. Mitchell Wassmus, Tennessee D-line was terrifying. Yeah, Tennessee, as I said, no run game for Tennessee. And for most of the day, Buffalo held Derrick Henry in check and the Buffalo run game. So it really was, it was really a lot of passing by Josh Allen, but they kept getting turnovers to not get it into the actual end zone. So tough day for Buffalo. And yeah, it's just really unfortunate because it should have been a better game than this. 42-16, both teams were undefeated, and the first interception was right off the defender's hands, popped right up. Malcolm Butler was like, "Oh, okay, sweet," and that's how you start the game. Basically, it was early in the first quarter, and that puts you in a hole. So very, very tough. Hail to the Redskins has question marks. I don't know what that is, but you're back to Hail to the Redskins. No. You were used to be sports fan all day. Now you're Hail to the Redskins. That's right. Mitchell Wassmus, I agree. Thank you. Is that really Matt Barkley? He is still in the league? Holy crap. Oh, he's only 30 years old? Good grief. I thought he was drafted back in like 2005 or something. I didn't realize he was that young. But yeah, he is the backup to Josh Allen apparently. Yeah, once they went down 42-16, they didn't even ship Josh Allen back onto the field. They were like, screw it. Stephon Diggs, you sit. Screw it. Matt Barkley, go out there. Josh Allen, you sit as well. Yeah, just a little fantasy update. Dude. I'm in 4 leagues. In 2 leagues, I scored the second most points in the league. In both those leagues, I played the guy that scored the most. Come on, man. Jeez Louise, that's my luck. Literally, one of my team's names is most points last place because 2 years ago in that league, I scored the most points in the league. And I finished in dead last because every single week in and week out, I would score like the second or third most points, and I would play the team that scored the most points, or the second most points or something. Like the guy that was right ahead of me, he scored more points than me. And a couple of my players did give it a shot. I had Stephon Diggs, but I was down by 34 because Emmanuel Sanders decided to get 27 points last night. Thanks, Emmanuel Sanders. But I also benched Jonnu Smith for some stupid reason because I forgot to put him back in after the COVID situation. So I left Schultz in, and then Schultz only got 1.6. Meanwhile, Jonnu Smith's got like 20 points because he had 2 touchdowns. So that hurt big time. But that only one I lost by 10. And then the other league, I had A.J. Brown and Jonnu Smith, and they tried to scream back and win this game for me. But that last touchdown for Derrick Henry iced it, and I lost by 4. So tough days for me in fantasy, or tough week, I should say. But back to the Bills, dude. Tennessee is a legit team right now. It sucks that they had COVID, and they may have lost to Pittsburgh. They actually got lucky with COVID. They should have been forced to forfeit with all of their violations. I think it's kind of crazy that they got 2 full weeks off to get healthy, even a couple extra days to plan, get ready for the next game, and then you just throw them in, and then they end up destroying the Bills that have been playing week in and week out that have no COVID situations. So either they should just play with the guys that don't have COVID. You test, and if you don't have COVID, then you can play. If you have COVID, then you go home. That, or if you have a COVID outbreak, I don't know, 3 or 4 more players, maybe 5, who knows what you want to say, you forfeit the game. You're out. But why switch up Pittsburgh's schedule just so that you can get that situation? I don't know. It seems really silly to me. But that's just my opinion, man. Let's see what they have here. I'm just curious about their who the Titans played. So they played Denver when they were at full strength and beat them 16-14 on Monday night. Jacksonville, they won 33-30. Minnesota, they won 31-30. And now Buffalo, they won 42-16. Some tight games, and then they had a blowout in week 5, I should say. And now they have Houston, that's 1-4 next week, and Pittsburgh, who is, I believe, 5-0 at this point. No, 4-0 because they skipped a week. So, couple of interesting games. Man, Tennessee's schedule, they do have the Ravens. That's going to be tough. Pittsburgh's going to be tough, and Green Bay is going to be tough. They should only be underdogs, maybe, of 3 games. So that's not too bad for the Titans. They could go potentially 13-3, and they're built to win now, and so I don't see why they really wouldn't. Titans versus Seahawks or Titans versus Packers for Super Bowl predictions. My Super Bowl predictions, still, I think Kansas City will find a way back in. Their defense is pretty solid, and they also have the great Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. So I think they'll find a way to answer to get back in. And then I like the Seahawks. Yeah, you said Titans versus Seahawks. I do like the Seahawks to potentially get into the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson's playing like a madman. He has the weapons this year. Chris Carson's still a really good running back. And their defense is well coached and usually pretty darn good anyway. They haven't been the best this year, but they still have a really good offense to compete with anybody, and I think they're well coached enough to potentially win in the playoffs. So I think my early Super Bowl prediction is the Chiefs versus the Seahawks, and I think that would be a fun game to watch, an exciting game, and I would root for that. Packers are just not. I like Aaron Rodgers. Maybe if they have a healthy Devontae Adams, I don't know. They're a team that they struggle in the playoffs. I feel like they're just not built to win. And maybe if they would have added another piece or two on the defense, or maybe even, I don't like a receiver, but they went quarterback first round, running back second round, and arguably their 2 best players are quarterback and running back. So you're not really helping yourself win there. But yeah, going back to that Le'Veon Bell situation, though, very interesting because the Jets are just absolutely in disarray, and they haven't fired their coach. Tons of people are trying to get out and ask for a trade or ask to be released, get me out of here, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's such a dumpster fire that, like, one of the worst I've seen in a while, I feel like. I think it's even worse than ours last year, and we were really bad. I mean, we were 3-13, and, like, no coach, no hope. Dwayne Haskins, he got hurt at the end of the year. Doesn't really look that good anyway. Like, I don't know. It was really heartbreaking to be a Redskins fan this year, but the Jets fans, holy moly, you guys sucked for years. But it hasn't been that bad. Their cap space is awful, and Le'Veon cleared a lot. I think the firing is coming next. It's got to come next, Mitchell Wassman. It's got to. Gase should not be the head coach of any football team. He shouldn't be even a coach after these situations. It's the players hate him. He sucks as a coach. The situation is terrible. I don't know why the flip that. I don't know what they're trying to do. What's up, Spoiled AFib Gaming, a.k.a. Bills got beat bad. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It's bad. It's not good for the Bills. They got destroyed, you know? But you know what? The score, I think, is a little bit misleading because, you know, unfortunate turnover in the beginning. But they held Derrick Henry to a decent day until the fourth quarter. They did a pretty good job on the run defense. They just had poor field position on defense. And then you have 42-16. Like, you had the fumble at the end of the game to ice it. I don't know. Like, I think the Bills are still okay. And the game, I think, is a little bit closer than the score entails. But at the same time, the score is what the score is. And they did get freaking trampled, 42-16. It was bad and not very good at all. And good for Tennessee, dude. They're 4-0 now, and I can see them easily going 13-3 because their freaking division's awful. I think I did a video before the season, like who has the toughest and the easiest schedule, and I'm pretty sure the Titans fell in the bottom 5. I think the Colts had the easiest schedule. And then, but the Titans were right there with them. It was a super easy schedule. The Ravens also had a super easy schedule. So I remember that. Falcons, I mean, they're 0-5 right now, and I had them as the toughest schedule in the league. So it kind of makes sense to me because their schedule is super brutal. Tampa Bay also has a tough schedule, and I think they're 2-3 now or 3-2. I remember those. I made a video earlier if you want to go watch it of who I thought had the. I did like a bunch of math and looked at the different projections and things like that. So it was an interesting video, I thought. It's called Jets Are a Garbage Franchise. They are. They were decent when they hired Rex Ryan back in the day. Rex Ryan had him, 11-5 in the AFC Championship game. And I think that was a good hire. He brought an interesting culture to the franchise. But right now, Adam Gase is just a freaking lock. He's a culture cancer. I mean, he just absolutely destroys people. It's terrible. Watch Matt Ryan turn up on Tom Brady. He's got so many freaking weapons. If Julio comes back, especially, Matt Ryan should play well. It's like Dak Prescott almost, but minus the offensive line. He has so many weapons. Todd Gurley now is your running back. Julio, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst is his tight end. I mean, he's got so many weapons. He's built to. He can't fail. So it's crazy that he only had like 11 fantasy points this week. It sucks. Mitchell Wasmus. I'm not sure who the Dolphins QB coach is, but he's done well. He's turned 2 under-average QBs into above-average players in Fitz and Tannehill. But he wasn't very good in Miami. Tannehill, right? I'm not sure what you mean by that. But, I mean, Fitz is just an old veteran, man. He doesn't have a great arm as far as arm strength, but he's super smart. He's a gamer. He knows what to do to win, especially now, what is he, like 35 years old or something like that? So he's just a tough-nosed dude. He was not afraid to sacrifice his body for his team. He just does what has to be done to win the game. And I like Ryan Fitz. I hope the QB coach in Miami can turn Tua Tagovailoa into a good QB, because that is where the Miami's future is, and hopefully Tua can get healthy. Matt Ryan plays his hardest against the Saints and Bucks every year. Yeah, I mean, he was tough last season, especially down the stretch. I think they had a 6-2 run at the end of the year. So after starting 1-8 or 1-7, after starting 1-7, they finished the year 6-2, including beating the Saints and the Niners. It's pretty crazy. Matt Ryan's play doesn't matter when their defense is the worst I've ever seen. Have you seen the Cowboys defense? Have you taken a look over in Dallas at how bad a defense could be? What is the defensive... what are they giving up? 36 points a game or 37 points a game right now? I don't think they've had a week where they've not given up 30. No, I think week 1 they didn't give up 30 to the Rams. But outside of that, they've given up like almost 40 points a game besides the first one. Yeah, they gave up 20. Let's do some math. They gave up 20, 40, 38, 49, and 34 in 5 games. 36.2 points per game. That's got to be some sort of record. If we can't put up 30 on the Cowboys, I'll take it regardless of their low play. Right? Hopefully Kyle Allen has a big day. He had a couple of really good games last year. So, he had a 4 touchdown, 0 interception game. He had a couple, I think 1 or 2, 3 touchdown, 0 interception games, at least one against the Saints. So hopefully he has a nice, good day for us this coming up week. We have the Giants and... Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, because the Cowboys are 2 weeks, but we have the Giants this week. Hopefully he has a good week this week as well. And then he can add to that against the Cowboys and then the Giants again. So that would be big for sure. Yeah, today's going to be kind of a short stream. I got to get up early, and I got a couple other things I got to do before I go to bed. So This game I probably ended around 10:30, so we got a few more minutes if you guys want to comment anything else. But what do the Bills have in their upcoming schedule? The Bills have tough one to lose today because now they have the Chiefs next week. They come back against the lowly Jets, so that's nice. Then you have the Patriots. That's going to be tough. Then the Seahawks, the Cardinals. So they have a little bit of a tough stretch here. They have the Chargers, the Niners, Pittsburgh, Denver, New England, and then Miami to end the year. Buffalo is going to have a tough sledding. Luckily for them, San Francisco is pretty beat up, but Cardinals aren't a bad team. Seahawks are great. Patriots are really good. They have to play those guys twice. Chargers are no slouch right now. Justin Herbert's playing really well, and their defense isn't terrible, even though they've been giving up some points, unfortunately. Pittsburgh's awesome. Denver is a problem, though. Not a problem, I'm sorry, is easier because, I should say they have problems because of the injuries to their team. Maybe they'll get healthier by week 15, who knows, but that should be a win for them. And then Miami to finish the year. They only beat Miami 31-28, and so that's going to be tough. They're going to struggle to win 10 games, in my opinion. You know, if they beat the Patriots twice, I can see that they can easily get 10 games, but I think that's a tall order to ask for Buffalo to beat the Patriots twice. Because even though the Patriots are, you know, without Tom Brady or whatever, Cam Newton's really good, and they're obviously the most well-coached team in the league. So we'll see where Buffalo goes. And yeah, Tennessee has a super easy schedule, so I could see them easily going 13-3. At worst, 12-4 in my opinion. I think that they're going to have a really great year to finish out, and you know they might be fighting for the first round bye or something crazy like that. Especially if they can upset the Ravens, and if they can upset they have to play the Chiefs, right? Tennessee has the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure. How do they not have the Chiefs? Oh, did Houston win the division last year and Titans squeezed in? I think that's what it was. Okay, so Houston had the Chiefs. That's right, week 1. Okay, so they don't have the Chiefs, but they do have the Ravens, Steelers, and the Packers. So those are the 3 games that they may be underdogs in. So I can see them, but they might be fighting for a first-round bye, Tennessee might be. That's crazy to think about. Pretty crazy to think about. All right, guys, no more comments are coming in. No worries. That's fine. I want to call it an early night. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Oh, speaking of the Steelers, what did you think of Chase Claypool? I have him in one of my leagues, and you should go get him because the dude's 6'5", running a 4.3 40. He is no joke, and clearly they want to use him now. 3 touchdowns this past week. I think that he has another one where he had a touchdown. So I think he is going to come into his own with Big Ben Roethlisberger, and he's a big body target, fast as heck as well. And they even gave him a rushing touchdown, so he got an end around on the day. So Chase Claypool is the real deal. But all right, guys, till next time.